Alright, this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Meet Archie, a crossover story published by Archie in 1991 that pairs their long-time Archie characters with their then more recent license to publish kid-friendly Turtles comics. Here is the full cover. We have got the TMNT partying with the world of Archie. And the art is by Dan DeCarlo, Archie friggin' royalty. And the turtles themselves are likely drawn, or at least finished, by Ryan Brown. Now, the Turtles Meet Archie is another exciting idea, but there is a crushing reality that we have to face straight away. This isn't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Meet Archie. That is what they have put on the cover, but the title should, or would, be some form of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures Spring Special. A year after this, they did start doing quarterly specials for a couple of years. And if you actually look at the indicia, it's simply titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. Nothing else. Here is our credits though. We have 4 stories. Our first and main story is Dean Clarraine writing, real name Stephen Murphy. Pencils are by Ken Mitchroney, who I miscalled Mitchroney before. Inks by Ryan Brown, but the Archie pencils are by Stan Goldberg. More bloody comics royalty. He spent most of his career from the 70s onwards as a long-time mainstay Archie creative. But before he started at Archie, he coloured for Marvel in the Silly Age, notably on Fantastic Force issue 1 and Amazing Fantasy 15. He coloured the first appearances of Thor, Captain Marvel's, the real one, Marvel, and many others. He did some freelancing for Marvel in the mid-70s, and you might have seen him colouring random issues of all sorts of things, like Steve Engletine's Captain America. So we kick off with Archie and Betty, and they are making out in a car as the sun sets. But their good time vibes are interrupted by the arrival of Cuddly the Cowlick, the intergalactic teleporter that is the head of a giant dairy cow. Cuddly spits out his passengers, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This does actually make an attempt to try and tie it into the Turtles series. There's a period where the quartet go on a bit of a world tour with Cuddly teleporting them to their destinations. And you can maybe say that this fits in there. But there's a big issue with saying that, which we will come to in the second story in this special. Archie and Bets, they see the turtles and they are suitably scared by these green alien men and the giant disembodied cattle that barfed them up. They flee to try and warn the rest of Riverdale that aliens are here. Linking this to the Army of Darkness crossover, I really like this opening stretch. I like Archie and Betty trying to convince everyone else that they're not crazy and there really was 4 green men. It's a good bit that fits in quite cleanly with an Archie plot. I have a confession to make though. I don't know the dog. I'm sure this is an Archie regular, but the TV series Riverdale did not feature a dog that had inner monologues. They could have. By about season 3, having a side character that is a thoughtful dog would not change the tone or direction of that show at all. They had one on Married with Children. Archie versus Married with Children. Can't believe I missed that one yesterday. You could even do the classic Betty or Veronica thing, but with Kelly or Peggy. The Archie gang, they go to see Josie and the Pussycats, and this party is a lot better than the last party they went to. There's no deadites for starters, and Moose isn't murdered. Now this bit might hit a bit too close to home for some of you, one of you. Veronica, she gets into trouble with the IRS. It's not her fault though. She won a giveaway and she was sent about 40 individual packages in the mail containing random trade paperbacks. It is here though where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles officially meet Archie. I felt the actual meeting was too underplayed. They kind of just say hello and that is it. But they team up to save Veronica because unlike Robert the Subscriber, it isn't the actual IRS. It is 2 kidnappers and they are wanting to extort Ardman Lodge for $2 million. $2 million. It's Archie versus Austin Powers, baby. The funny thing is, and I don't think it's even meant as a gag, the funny thing is that the Archie crew have this down. They really don't need the Turtles. The Turtles, amusingly, don't help that much. They send Jughead to the door pretending to be a pizza delivery boy. And then I suppose the Turtles, they beat up these 2 guys, but I feel like Archie and Betty, they could have done this. Have you seen how fucking lethal Betty is on the Riverdale show? And then they all go for pizza at Pop's. It's a cute story, don't get me wrong, but I think it would have been neat to have a bit more direct interaction between the Archie cast and the 4 Turtles. The next 3 stories feature nothing related to the world of Archie. They are straight up TMNT Adventures stories. This one is by Stephen Murphy with art by Don Simpson, creator of Undercover Slut. Archie versus Undercover Slut. This story fits directly in between TMNT Adventures 16 and 17. It is a continuity insert of sorts, and to that end, not only is Man Ray present, but Raphael is not wearing his traditional red mask. He is wearing the black costume, or at this point, the bottom half of his black costume, which is how he did appear right at the point between issues. The Turtles find an abandoned pirate ship, and Raphael, he opens a treasure chest and ignores the warning note attached to it, and it's basically Pandora's box. We have got some Army of Darkness style shit with skeletons, pirate skeletons. Ay, caramba. Man Ray, I enjoyed seeing more of him. And it is a very simple story. A lot of Archie and Archie Turtles are quite simple. And when they are backup features in a Turtles special, they are even simpler. But you do get to see the Turtles fight some skeletons. I'm fine with that. It would have been neat if we had Archie Andrews and company show up too. Based on the cover, you kind of want all 4 stories to be separate Turtles meet Archie crossovers. Or at least bring in Undercover Slut. Have her shag one of the skeletons or something. Next up we have a reprint, not a new story. This is reusing a mini-comic done for Earth Day. And you've got to turn it on its side to read it, which I love doing. This is by Stephen Murphy, no pen name, and Jim Lawson, but it is inked by a who's who of Mirage Publishing: Peter Laird, Dan Berger, Michael Dooney, Steve Lavigne, Eric Talbot. And it's only across 3.5 pages. Then we have our final story, and I am going to argue the most significant. This is a 12-page story that is true to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventure series. This could have been an issue of that if it were longer. It is by Ryan Brown and Doug Brammer scripts. Doug Brammer isn't a big name. He was friends with Ryan Brown, it seems, and he puts in a couple of showings with Turtles stuff, not many, but he would go on to do the Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa with Ryan Brown a year after this. There was a caveman frozen in ice, and Shredder has already stolen him, and he has begun transforming him into one of his mutant servants. Oh, and we have the fucking artist of Albert Moore's Man-Thing inking this. This is after Man-Thing too. He started out and he was kind of in with the Mirage Boys and Cerebus. I think his only real credit on the original Turtles was the Leonardo one-shot. He inked some of that. I think he did some pin-ups too. Michael Zulli is another one. quite prestige artists with work on acclaimed mainstream comics that have links to Mirage Studios. I find the history of Mirage actually quite interesting. Shredder, using the mutagen, transforms the prehistoric Neanderthal into a mutant mammoth. I want to backtrack. I mentioned this character and said how he had a stupid name. His name is Man-Moth, a pun of man and mammoth. Man-Moth. I said it sounds too much like man who is a moth rather than man mammoth. I realised though it would be said manmoth. It still doesn't quite work in my opinion, and the problem is that people reading it are going to say man-moth rather than manmoth. Anyway, I really like the art in this one. There's some of that Eastman and Laird style detail to Manmoth. The cross action, the skin and muscle detail, the fur detailing. That might be Bisette's contribution. I'm guessing it is. Manmoth is introduced here though. Manmoth, well, he might have been a pre-existing action figure. That is an area I am completely bad on. Playmates did new characters as toys, and some of them are what were adapted into these comics. Manmoth might have been one of them. After this though, Manmoth reappears in a regular issue of Adventures, issue 40. It's the very first issue back after the 7 or 8 that IDW had to skip over in reprints because of the team up with Muhammad. He is in the IDW comics. Manmoth, I'm talking about Manmoth, not Muhammad. Manmoth is also in Saturday Morning Adventures. He is part of the villain group, the Pantheon. Very minor villain in the scheme of things, but there's more life to him than some other characters that originate from the Archie Adventures series. So here is a straightforward Turtles fight with Manmoth. Like the black sails in the Sunset story, and like the main one even, it is more simplified than usual. We have only got 12 pages here. I'll again say it would have been nice if we could have had Manmoth attack Riverdale or whatever, but that is the cover unfairly setting up expectations. Black sails and this one are good for what they are. I'd even say this one is the strongest story in here. It would work as a regular issue of the series. That is this slightly missold TMNT special. We have the Archie crossover, 2 other stories, and a reprint that I don't think really counts as a story. It could have done a lot more, but I'm not disappointed by what we have. They could have capitalised on bringing the 2 together a lot more, but I don't mind that we get 2 extra stories that are decent TMNT Adventures pieces. I'll give it a 7 thumbs up because through our bleeding, we are one.